right, everyone, and we are back for the recap for this market. Now, as you can see, I am outside. I'm not in my apartment. I figured I might as well come out. It's a nice day today, and I wanted to give you all a different setting. So, I'm going to go over the recap for this market that I just did. I actually just came back from the DMV, so now my license is officially renewed. But we are not here for talks on the DMV, which, by the way, went really, really quick. So I didn't have to worry about being there for hours and hours. I was kind of shocked, to be honest with you. But let's get right into this recap and see how I did for the market for Makers Manifest. All right, so I don't know how I'm going to structure these market recaps moving forward because I feel like I always change it up for you all, but we're just going to run through it as best as I can. I do have my notebook out here with me, but I don't have my computer set up or anything with me, so I don't know how this is going to go. So the market ran from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and we had to be there by 8:30 the earliest and 9:30 the latest so that we could be all set up and ready to go for the day. So I ended up getting there at 9:05 and the day was definitely one of the windiest days so far for my markets, and the season has just started for me. So it was very windy that day. It wasn't raining or anything, and it was cloudy for the most part in the very beginning, and then the sun ended up coming out. So it wasn't too bad as far as the weather went. However, it was cold. I will say that. It was definitely cold that day, and I had my gloves, my coat, and my hat with me. The only thing I didn't have was my scarf. So, but it was okay. I had this hoodie on. It's my Lincoln Park hoodie, um, and it is very warm for good reasons. So I ended up not being that cold out there. But it was windy that day, and I started to set up as soon as I got there. Thank goodness the coordinator was there to help me because, as you all know, I'm the only one who goes to all my markets, and I had a lot of stuff that day, and I needed help getting to my spot. Even though it wasn't that far away, I still needed some help rolling everything over there. So she helped me roll over all my stuff, and then as soon as I got there, I ended up setting up. Now, one thing I didn't notice was that there was a big tractor trailer that was there just sitting there parked. And she told me that they put it there at the last minute. So my stand ended up, as you saw, being in front of this tractor trailer. But luckily for me, I ended up bringing one of the walls to my tent, so I was able to put the wall up. However, the wall did try to slide under the trailer and get a little bit dirty, but it was okay. So I set up the wall, set up all my stuff as usual on the table. I did forget to put my runner on the table, which was very amateur of me because I'm now starting to get back into the swing of things after having such a long break between markets. But I put my runner on the table and I set it up nicely. Now, what you did notice is that I did not have the DIY projects that I talked about having on the table, and it's simply because it was not ready yet. So it was okay. I was more than happy to push it back some, and yeah, it just never made it on the table for that market. Now, I didn't finish setting up until around 10:10, and the market started at 10, and it's simply because it was very windy and I had to nail things down. And also I couldn't put up any of my signs because they are the plastic signs and they'll easily fly away in this wind, because while the wind wasn't completely blowing the entire day, it still had its moments, and when it did, it was really, really strong. So I wasn't able to set up the table fully the way I wanted to, but I think it came out okay. However, I do remember that I had my glue dots in there, so I did put up a few of the price tag signs on the shelf and was able to monitor them throughout the day as the wind was blowing. So as far as the crowd goes, the crowd was definitely there. These are street fairs and they're set up in the streets of Manhattan throughout the summer and also into the fall. And there's always an abundance of people walking by because it's not just one street, it's like multiple streets, and it's so many vendors that participate in those fairs. Now, where I'm at, I'm in a certain spot. So we are the craft makers of these street fairs because really there's not any craft makers. It's all like small businesses that either have a storefront or they've been established for a long time and they have their stuff imported and they just bring them out, or it's food vendors that make their stuff in a kitchen somewhere or in their restaurant and they have a stand out there. So it's nice to have a section of these street fairs now where it's just dedicated to people who handmade and handcrafted all their items. And I'm in that section because, as you all know, I hand pour all my products and sell them at the street fairs and markets. Now, there were a couple of vendors that I was excited to see. So I finally got to meet April of Soul Candles. We end up following each other on Instagram, and I'm always looking at her stories. And I just love the scents of her candles. I ended up stopping by, as you all saw, and giving a little chat with her and learning some things about how to set up and different places that I can vend at. So I was excited to see her there and meet her for the first time. And also my vendor friend that I met last year, she was there, Kim. She was actually right next to me and she sells her jewelry. I think I featured her in a couple of videos last year, but she was also there and I showed you all. Her company's name is Collection 13. And then I got to meet some new people. So across from me was another home scent vendor, small business there. And it was her first year actually doing markets. And it was her first time doing a street fair. So she was there, very pleasant, very nice. Her candles and products smelled so good. And then I ended up meeting a couple of other people along the way when I was like taking the tour and showing you all how the street fair was going. But that's always a plus to meet other people that are there and showing off their small businesses. And as you all know, now I like to show off theirs and like try and give a little advertisement to them when I'm at the markets. All right, so when it comes to these street fairs, I always underestimate how much I make and how many sales I have because there are periods where things slow down. As far as the sales goes, it wasn't like a steady pace of sales, which it usually isn't. It's always here and there, but it depends on the crowd itself and the location. Because sometimes I'll have it where I make 7 sales on the day and it's really slow, and the sales are usually spread out like with hours. So with the street fairs, it's often spread out like the most would be like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So it's still the same, but like I said, I always underestimate the amount of sales I have with these things and the total sales as far as the amount goes. But they were there and people were coming by. I'm starting to get more people ask questions about similar products that I sell and trying to get information because whoever they purchase from, the product is not working the way that they hoped it would, or that it's not doing what it's supposed to. So I do get a lot of those questions, and I actually like answering questions. If I know the information about it, especially seeing as I'm teaching myself how to do all this stuff, then I definitely am open to answering questions at the market, no problem whatsoever. So I did get a couple of those. I also got this one lady who came to visit her friend, and she stopped by the table early, and she ended up buying a 8-ounce candle from me, a relaxing shoreside. I think she bought an 8-ounce candle for me, and a few hours later she actually came back with her friend, and her friend ended up buying something from me, so that was pretty nice. All right, so I had to stop because the Amazon delivery guy is here. But yeah, so she stopped by and she asked me about how did I start my business and about my products and the name of it. Well, actually, I gave up how I came up with the name of it. So it was nice for her to bring her friend back and to have her purchase something from me. So that means that she ended up talking about my small business while she was gone to her friend. So I think her friend ended up buying a room spray and a candle, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I had those interactions, and overall, it was just a nice day. It was pleasant. I wish it wasn't as cold because being that cold, it can irritate you as a vendor, and it kind of slows me down. I don't know about you all, but it definitely slows me down and throws me off from interacting. But I was very, very present in that one. I can say that. Now, something that I did do at this market for the first time, I ended up introducing was a sign and a QR code that allows people to make a purchase on my website, and they end up getting free shipping because they're at the market of products that are not available at my table, or well, sold out at my table. And I ended up getting two people to go through that method of getting their products. So I was excited that it worked. It does put in some effort because I do have to talk to them and let them know I can't just have the sign represent itself. So I ended up getting a lady to buy one of my diffusers, a cucumber oasis, and then a gentleman ended up buying two of the 4-ounce candles of Sunday Walk. Now, the one thing I have to remember is that I can't offer it to products that are under $20. So moving forward, I think that really, really works out. So I just have to remember to talk to them and let them know that, hey, I might be sold out here, but you can always order it online and I can ship it out to you for free using that QR code. All right, so now let's get into the sales, how many sales I made and what I made as a total for the day. Now, as far as sales go, which I didn't know I made this many, but as far as sales go, I made 16 sales for the day, and the total gross was $424.60. Now, my top seller for the day was my Common Spa Day 4-ounce candles. I sold 5 of them, and I think moving forward, I'm going to bring more of that one, of Afternoon Bouquet and Sunday Walk, because those are the 3 that move the most. And I'm going to continue to bring Passion Sunrise and Relaxing Shoreside, but I'm only going to bring a small amount of those because they don't move nearly as much. And it's crazy because when I first started out, Passion Sunrise was one of the ones that always sold, and now it has really died down some, and it's really not being sold nearly as much. I don't know if it's because it's more of a summer scent, but seeing as we're moving into the summer, maybe it'll pick up on sales. But definitely Common Spa Day and Sunday Walk usually are the ones that I sell out of at every market that well, not everyone, but almost every market that I go to. So for this market, I want to say that I give the weather probably about a D, because it was cold, it was windy, and the only thing that kind of saved it was the sun out. So as soon as I stepped into the sun, nice and warm. For the crowd, I want to say I give the crowd a B. most of the people that walked by, they were there to purchase. We were in more of a residential area, so that was a plus. They were there to purchase. A lot of them stopped at the table, and I did have a good amount of sales. Was it 100 sales in a day? No, but I did have a good amount of sales that day, so it wasn't bad. I'll give the crowd a B. So overall, I'm going to give the market a A. Despite the weather, it was a really good street fair. I enjoyed it. There was a ton of people that came by. There was good times with a lot of the vendors there, and I did meet a lot of people, so I was happy to be a participant there in the market. Now the question is, will I do this street fair again? And the answer is yes, I will definitely do this one again. I think it's a good location for a street fair. I think the people there aren't touristy or tourists. They are residential, so that helps a lot because the people there are more looking to purchase from the vendors that are at the street fairs. And yeah, it was just overall good time. I really enjoyed myself. I will definitely sign up for that one again in that location. It worked out. It just worked out. And for me, it's crazy because I always underestimate myself at these street fairs now. At the markets, I can understand. But at these street fairs, I always underestimate myself. So moving forward, I think I'm going to stop worrying while I'm there and just wait for the numbers to come out the next day, and then I can judge by then. I think that is it for this recap. There really wasn't much to say. I think this one was the first one that actually went somewhat smoothly for me. There was no issues or anything, no miscommunications or anything. So I think it was just overall a good market, a good day. Despite the cold and the wind, it was really good. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this recap here. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And if you did, then go ahead and hit that like button, as well as comment and share. And then, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you can be notified when the next new video comes out. Now, with that being said, I'm going to sit out here for a little longer and enjoy the weather before I head back upstairs to the noisy neighbors that, as you all know, live above me, and get some stuff done. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and don't forget to show yourself a little more appreciation. So until next time, this is Tammy saying, take care, everyone.